I'm Doug Massey, and today I'll be going over just about everything that you'll need to know to sell final expense insurance on a face-to-face or belly-to-belly basis in 2025, including how to door knock leads, how to set appointments, when you should door knock leads versus when to call to set appointments. We're even going to talk about what to look for in an insurance agency and the type of leads that you should be working and probably avoiding. So let's start with a thumbs up. We do suggest subscribing if you're a new viewer to the channel. We're putting out new insurance sales content and final expense sales training videos just like this all the time. And just so that you know, I started my final expense sales career door knocking leads, and in my first full calendar year, I made right around $250,000 profit. And this was all from busting my hump and, well, doing what most people wouldn't do. Driving throughout Florida. I mean, I worked pretty much the whole state. I stayed in some not so nice hotel rooms when I had to. And I even drove out of state when there were leads out of state that needed to be hit. Let's start by talking about the art of calling to set appointments. And first off, yes, you should call your leads over and over and over and set as many appointments as possible before you go out and door knock your leads. And guys, stick around to the end of this video. I'm going to show you how to get a copy of my door knocking super file. And this thing is pretty awesome. It's got all kinds of scripts for door knocking and even more. Rule number one, when calling to set appointments, just make sure you follow the script. Don't bring up life insurance. Don't mention that word. Most people just don't want a life insurance agent coming to their house. You know, even when they filled out a lead form that is for a quote for life insurance. Make sure that you've got at least one full day set aside for calling your leads, and don't be afraid to call them over and over and over until you get people on the phone. Preferably, I would say have 2 phone days. And that way you want to also have like maybe 4 when you're new, even up to like 5 field days if necessary. The key is to have as many appointments set for you as possible and to door knock the leads in between that you can't get on the phone, between your appointments, or that like maybe don't even take the appointment. Here's the thing. If you've got a prospect that doesn't take the appointment when you call and they say, nope, I'm not interested, it's not going to hurt to stop by and door knock these leads. Most people are totally different in person than they are on the phone. And so here's how I see it. You paid for that lead. They requested the information, so do your job. The only time you want to leave a message is when you know that you're going to be in that person's area like the next day and you're going to door knock that lead. So I'll leave a message saying something like, hey Janet, you filled out the form requesting information about the state regulated final expense coverage. You can reach me at, and then I say the number, because I'm going to be in your area tomorrow and I'm going to try to stop by if I can. When it comes to door knocking your leads, first, don't walk up with a briefcase or a laptop or even like an iPad or something like that. Just walk up to the front door with a stack of leads, some medical question pages in the back, and your pen. I personally like to have a lanyard with some type of ID badge hanging around my neck. I feel like it makes me look like I have some type of official capacity. And you're going to be surprised, when you're in certain areas and certain, apartment buildings, that people will approach you and go, are you the insurance man? When you're at the front door, I like to use a familiar sounding door knock. Tot, 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 tot. And when they answer, I'm vague. I show them the lead form and I say something like, hey Janet, my office sent me here. You filled out this form requesting information about the state regulated burial benefits. It'll only take me a few minutes. Where can we sit down really quick? Thing is, don't let them chase you away. You don't want to set an appointment. You do not want to set an appointment at the door, because once you're in front of them, the chances of you getting in front of them again are not going to be very good. If they give me an excuse like, oh, it's a bad time, so-and-so's sick, we're getting ready to go somewhere, excuse, it doesn't matter what it is. I let them know, hey, Janet, look, I don't live nearby. Why don't I just give you the really short version? And as I'm saying that, I kind of motion like we're coming inside. You'd be surprised how your body language can get you in the door and into a final expense sales presentation. Now, when it comes to making your sales presentation, make sure you know exactly what you're gonna do and say before you go. There's agents that try to wing it. They're like, oh, it's my first day, I'm just gonna wing it. Don't waste your time. time. Be prepared. Look, I know like for my agents, we've got a bunch of like training modules and we've got a killer presentation script that we ask the agent to basically memorize before they go into the field, which leads us to finding a really good insurance agency to work with. If you end up making the mistake, in most cases it's a mistake, my opinion, of joining one of those 3 or 4 initial multi-level marketing insurance agencies, you know who they are, you're not going to be able to get released from them. So when things don't work out, which they rarely do with those companies, and since they won't release you, at least not without having you sign something that I would never suggest, you're going to need to end up working with those carriers, that you don't have through them until the 6 months passes, which is when you can re-contract with another agencies. And a lot of these agencies, they use the right carriers. So if they don't release you, you may end up being stuck without being able to use your favorite carrier. Just do your due diligence. Research the agency you're looking at before it's too late. At my agency, United Final Expense Services, we do have a lot of carriers for when that type of thing happens. So we kind of see it a lot. So we know, you may not be able to use a couple of the main carriers, but you will after a few months pass. And yes, by the way, we do release agents without asking them to sign like some type of a contract or non-disclosure, something that my attorney put together. We don't do that nonsense. The nice thing about companies like Lincoln Heritage and Senior Life is that they actually have their own insurance product. They are an actual insurance carrier, not just an agency. So if things don't work out with those 2 type of companies, you won't need a release. You can literally just walk away. I'm bringing these guys up because these type of companies can be a really good place to start. And look, we all have to start somewhere, right? There's an old saying, and I used to hear this a lot back in the day when I first started, you've got to pay your dues. So let's talk leads. Personally, I do not recommend working direct mail leads right from the start as a new agent. They're just too expensive. And if you're working aged leads that have been previously worked by another agent, you're probably just wasting your time and energy. Thing is, a lot of these folks either, have the insurance or they've moved. It's just not worth it. Personally, I suggest working an exclusive internet or Facebook lead, and I don't suggest spending a lot of money on these type of leads. There are lead vendors which will charge like $25 to $30 per lead because they're asking a lot of questions and they're making excuses on why the lead's so expensive usually. But honestly, I don't think all the questions are necessary. Like, I kind of believe if you're, selling face-to-face, if you're door knocking a lot of leads, the cheaper the lead, the better. And I used to do just fine with leads that I generated on Facebook personally for like back when we first started doing it for like under $10 each. I didn't ask for anything but their name, phone number, and address. And that was all I asked. And it was pretty vague and almost, I want to say, even potentially misleading. Like the client never knew what I was there for until I was there. To me, the trick is you get to the front door or if you're on the phone, you just remind them when they filled it out and you push your way through. Really, the agency that you're working through should be able to generate a decent internet or Facebook lead for you for under $15, or I would say at least around $15 or less. To me, anybody can do that. I know we can do that. So if you're working with an agency that's telling you, to go buy the leads, or they're trying to sell them for a profit, $20 or something, you're with the wrong team. The old school and outdated insurance agencies are going to push direct mail leads on you right from the start. But again, I truly don't believe that they're necessary for new agents. Yeah, they can work if you're a talented producer, which most agents aren't, or if you have a huge contract, with most agents will never get. So to me, that's why it's a fail if you're just learning final expense, and that's your target market and you're just using direct mail leads. I know at my agency, we give our face-to-face agents a couple of options. We can run the ads for them on our Facebook page, or for like a small fee, we can even set it up for them to run, like a done for you type of system. And if you're good with modern technology, this will work. But honestly, years of experience has taught me that, this does take time and money, to generate your own leads. And most people really don't have the time or the mental capacity to even generate their own Facebook leads. I mean, I hate to say it, that's the easiest way to do it. And Well, most of us can't even do that, which again is why we can do this from our Facebook and are often able to generate even like a door knocking lead for still around 10 bucks each. I mean, that's not the cheapest you'll get it. If you generate them on your own, you might get cheaper, but it's pretty effective. And we can even ask the client like their favorite hobby or color so that you have some type of password to remind the client of when they filled out the lead form. If you'd like a copy of the appointment setting super file that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, just email me at doug@ufesonline.com. For more information on working with us, just shoot me an email at that same address. As always, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. Now get out there and whatever you do, make sure that you do something good for someone else today. Happy hunting.